One, two, three. Ahoy, everybody, and welcome to JustCzeching, your podcast about diversity, inclusion, belonging, and identity. Today, we are with a fellow colleague called Miguel. He's from Mexico, same as me, and we're going to be talking about the expat testimony. This is one of the chapters in which we have a more informal dialogue about the challenges, the learnings, and the opportunities of moving abroad and how that experience is for every individual. As we know, this podcast not only focuses on the influencers or the celebrities that are my guests, but also about normal people like he and I who are pursuing a career globally. With us, Miguel. How are you, Miguel? ¿Qué tal?
Gracias. Very good, very good. I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me, and very happy to be back here in Prague.
Excellent. Miguel and I met in our former employer. We're not going to say names, but it was a huge pharma. And we were very happy there. And we met, you were working for HR, right?
Yes, I was head of payroll and time and attendance. Yeah.
Can you introduce to our audience in 3 sentences so they get to know you a little bit of where you come from, your background, and then we go and hit the questions?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the first sentence is I'm from Monterrey, Mexico.
The north.
The north.
I'm from
Afua,
south.
We call it. We call ourselves Regios.
Yes.
I was born and raised there, and then I had the opportunity to work for different multinationals. I married there as well, have a kid, Sebastian, 10 years old now. And actually over the last almost 1 decade, I have been living abroad, mainly in Europe, Czech Republic, 5 years actually. And now I'm based in Germany, in Frankfurt. So
we're now in a place where you were giving a talk, right? You came to Prague to give talks. So that is something you currently do, in addition to your work, right?
I do. I like to participate in these symposiums and conferences where people share ideas and perspectives of how the business and corporate world is evolving, especially now with the new technologies. And I try to put my insights mainly related to people, right, which is the center of every single business transformation, and that's one of the things.
So just for the audience, if everybody hears some noise or sees some movement, it's because you just finished presenting and the room is being cleaned up or cleansed or cleaned and clean up and given maintenance, right?
That's true. Yes, we are just wrapping up to go home and continue tomorrow.
Okay. First question: where are you living now, and what is your expat journey in this moment?
My journey has landed in Frankfurt, in a town called Bad Homburg, north of Frankfurt. Although I work in my office is in Frankfurt, I work for a German company in the industry of industrial services, actually. And I'm very happy with the German culture. I have already 3 years in Germany, 1 year in the Hessen area in Frankfurt, and another 2 years in close to Munich. And so I can tell that I have been happy and surprisingly in a positive way surprised by the German culture and the way they have welcomed us to me and my family.
A Mexican in Germany. It's also almost like a tale, and there is a lot of differences in our cultures, but also similar things. So during this chapter, we're going to go through both.
There is a movie actually called Guten Tag, Ramon.
Yes.
I don't know if you have.
I do remember that. That's why I said I'm Mexican in Germany.
That somehow approaches the. Actually, I live close by. The movie is based in Wiesbaden, which is 30 minutes from my home.
What do you think? Let's start with the similar things. If you have to tell someone, okay, imagine that another Mexican or someone from Latin America is moving to Germany. What are the things you will say are similar or that we can compare?
That's a good question. I will start from the religion. I think
Yes.
the values, the Christianity that is really, really attached to our culture as Guadalupanos is also attached in Germany, and I think that also find similarities on the way we approach life. I mean, the importance and the value of the family, the values
Yes.
of the friendship, to very much respect the others, which is something you must do in Germany because there are very
Yes.
important laws.
Focus on that.
Yes.
I remember I also lived in Germany, and also it struck me that the importance of family is still there. And as you say, we can relate on Christian foundations, even though we interpret them different. There is a connection there. What advice would you give a Latin American or anyone moving to Germany who perhaps comes from a culture that is not necessarily European, right? A non-European moving to Germany. What advice would you give them?
Well, I mean, I very much follow the same rule, right? That respect the traditions and the locals' ways of working. One of the things, for example, that surprised us a lot in Germany was how early everything closes, right? The supermarket, nothing opens on Sundays, and then and then you need to somehow figure it out what to do. So yes, I mean, but also what they call the root tax, or the holidays, and keep the things quiet on those specific days and times.
Yes.
So but as I say, it's the same formula wherever you go. I mean, the same formula we apply when we came to Prague, the same formula when I was assigned in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. So it's when in Rome, right? So but applied in a more broader way, where you need to observe, you need to listen, you need to respect and be respected.
You've lived in Prague, you lived in Germany. Have you lived also in Brazil, from what I hear?
Which
other countries? Tell us your whole expat journey.
That's something that started back in 2004 when I was 19 years old, and I moved to San Francisco, to the Bay Area, more specifically a town called El Cerrito. Maybe people may know it.
El Cerrito.
In Berkeley, close to Berkeley, and I was attending school there, and and I was working for a period of time. I've made friends. I moved there with my best friend, and we were living in an apartment, and yes, I mean, at a very, very early age of my life, I left home for a different country, different language, different culture, and discovered the beauty of people, right? I remember it was the first or the second week in Berkeley, and I was driving I'm gonna share something illegal I did, because I drove
Don't do that when you go abroad.
I drove my cousin's car without the license, without my driver license.
All right.
And I remember I was going back home from school, and then it was already night, and then some young kids from the university, or young, some guys came over and tell me, oh, the lights, and I didn't understand it, and they came all the way to me. They jumped into the car, and then they turned on the lights.
Turn on the lights, yes.
The police was around the corner, so they literally
Saved by the bell.
they saved me, and it's just an anecdote, right? But
You're free when you're young and you're in a different country.
exactly, right? I mean, I was 19
Yes.
years old, and I was
Yes.
all.
It's a beautiful episode, yes.
Yes. Then, I was there for almost a year. Then I went back to graduate. Then for work, I was also assigned to U.S. for many projects, because I was working for a American multinational, PepsiCo.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity
Huge.
to travel all around US or from coast to coast. Then because of PepsiCo as well, I was assigned for a special project in Sao Paulo, and it was during all
How
the
is working in Brazil? Is there any lesson that Brazil gave you?
Well, they are very hard workers.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's something that I had a lot of similarities with Mexico. Very, very hard workers, but they also, they go by the saying of work hard
And party hard.
right?
Similar to Mexicans, maybe. So you've got the USA, you've got Brazil, and which other country came after? Let's go through your journey.
No, after
as an
Brazil,
expat.
I came back to Mexico, but I moved city. I moved to Guadalajara.
That's
where
interesting. Sorry to say, break here. I'm sorry to cut you here. Also within Mexico, we're very different. And even though it's the same country, our traditions and the way, even where he comes from and I come from, we are completely different. So
They
that is a
are.
good point. You need to adapt also.
They are,
Thank
they
you for
are.
mentioning that.
No,
I'll let you talk. Sorry.
No. I mean, it's true. It's true. We arrived to Guadalajara, and my gosh, we were treated very, very well. Very kind people. I was working for another American multinational, HP, and the food. I mean, the food in Guadalajara is amazing. I mean, I love my carne asada from Monterrey, but the food in Guadalajara is in all Jalisco is something amazing. Also a big city, and yes, I mean we adapted there. I mean we adapted to the ways of working, the ways of talking, right? Because you don't know, but us in Monterrey, we are famous by speaking a little bit louder.
Very assertive.
And very assertive. Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
more than loud, it's very assertive.
It's very assertive.
We are louder,
you go to
I
the
think.
point. You go. Yeah, I think Veracruz is louder. You go to the point. That was taking a little bit, as something else in Guadalajara when I was, and I had a team at that time, and of course I remember once I was invited to a birthday party, and then I said that I couldn't because I had some other plans. And the next day, everybody was offended, and I asked about, and they say, no, in Guadalajara, you don't say no, you just say yes, and then you just don't show up. And I'm like, okay, that's...
This is what we do. Yes, I'm not from that region, I'm from further south, but we're closer. I think we do that, and now I wouldn't do it. I will say also no, just like you. There's a great point. So then, USA, Brazil, Mexico,
Guadalajara, and then Mexico City, where I was with Novartis for a couple of years, and I also, learned to live in Mexico City. I had the opportunity to also build my career there, and also see the differences of working. For example, one of the things I always tell to my fellow colleagues from Mexico City was that their emails were so long, right? And then and that it was impossible to read them all. And of course even the dressing code in Mexico is you need to go very very formal, while in Guadalajara you go in sandals, and because it's close to the beach and everything. So no, yeah, I mean different. You're quite right. Although we are one single Mexico country, there are differences from city.
And from Mexico City, you came to Prague then.
Yeah, actually, Mexico City. Before I moved here, we moved in 2019. Actually, we had this earthquake.
Yes.
Happening there.
I was here, but yes.
Yes. And I was living in a
I forgot about it.
in a 21st floor.
Blimey.
Luckily, I was not at home, but at work, because it happened around 12. But
That was scary.
Yes. 2 weeks before, we suffered the one that happens at night, and it was also hard.
Yes.
And we were at home, and everything was moving, and then but I was lucky that my family was not there. I was me alone, and yes, I mean strong. I mean emotions and everything. I had to work all night, removing the briefs and everything was. Yeah, but at the same time, looking around, all the people supporting each other was something really, really
Symbolic.
symbolic.
So you came to Prague after that, and then question: what are the biggest lessons that both? Let's talk about Germany and Prague, which are the latest two countries. Which are the biggest lessons they have given you, both Prague and Germany, in terms of your personality and your skills as an expat?
Yeah, that's a good question. If I will start with Prague, I will say the maybe the word is resilience, right? How when things don't happen the way you expected, you need to just come back and keep fighting, right?
Very important skill. I'm
Yes.
feeling it now
Yes.
as well. Resilience is a very important. Thank you for mentioning that. What else?
It is definitely. And for Germany, I think also empathy. I think is the other word because because you never know what is the background and the story of the people in front of you, right? So you need to practice your empathy. You need to also somehow go easy on yourself, right? Also to
Yes.
practice self-empathy, right? Not self-pity, but self-empathy.
Yes.
And
Compassion.
And compassion, yes. So those definitely are the two things I learned.
So imagine, as I said, now that we reflected on your journey and we refresh a lot of these experiences, what, and again, the same question, what would you tell someone moving either to Prague or to Germany that is going to learn or that is going to, something has to be wary to become successful in whatever that person is going to do?
I don't have a formula to success. Just to put it in plain. I mean, I don't
Based on
consider
your
myself.
experience.
What I see on others is, I think previously you mentioned assertiveness, and yes, people from Monterrey is really known for that. But I don't consider myself somebody that assertive, but I think assertiveness is something you should practice when you are arriving to a different culture, especially in these countries, because that is very, very well appreciated.
What about language? Learning the local language. Has that worked for you?
That is working in Germany. I mean, I tried in Czech Republic. It's important to mention that while I was here, the pandemic hit, so that gave us
different.
It made it different, definitely. Also, it was impacted because the population was still mainly elders. But that gave us the time to learn the language, and I think the people appreciate it a lot when you make an effort.
Yes.
The same in Germany. I have been studying since the first day German, and people appreciate it. And also you are able to understand more the culture and the things going on around you.
What do you think are the key challenges, or not key? What are the common challenges? Apologies, when someone decides to have an expat life.
I'm trying to find the word because it's lack of comfort, right?
Is that?
But when one of my, it was like, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago, I made a video saying that nothing great comes from comfort zones, that you need to step out of it. So, but it hurts, right? I mean, it's human nature, right? When you are comfortable, you try to keep it that way for as long as you can, and change matters. And I think nowadays, especially, we were talking in this conferences about the new technologies, right, and how you need to be in constant change. Of course, it's not something comfortable, but it's something that has to do, right? Because
Keeps you going and keeps you learning.
keep it going, keep it going.
Out of this, being out of your home comfort, because at home everything you know how to move, you know where to go, where is the doctor, who to call, you have immediate family and friends there. Here you're alone and you have to somehow evolve. What is the biggest win you have got? This is the last question. Which is the biggest win that life has given to you out of being out of comfort? It's a powerful comment that you have made. What is the biggest win that life said? Because you worked all of this in you, life gives you this.
Well, going back to resilience. Going back to resilience.
It's a great point.
Because that's the way you stand up and keep running.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is Miguel from North Mexico, and stay tuned for more episodes of Expat Testimonies in JustCzeching. Nasledano, Eskiden.